56 acres done. I want to move on into Jackson. Got one more farm I want to get done today before I go home. Got 31 acres there. If I hadn't lost that hour with that broken bolt, I'd probably already be good half done with it and probably leaving the field before 10 o'clock tonight. But don't look like that's going to happen tonight. Look like going to be another late night, another late supper, and another case of heartburn probably around 3 a.m. Man, I love farming. Well, I gotta give props to Kelly. She just surprised me with my favorite. Yeah, it may be greasy, it may not be healthy, but it sure is going to taste good. And I'm not eating at 10:30, 11 o'clock, so maybe I won't get that heartburn at 3 a.m. It sure is awesome to have a thoughtful wife like that.
It's now 10 o'clock. We're just now going home. We got the water truck back, we fixed the sprayer, and then we went and got food because we were starving, so it hasn't been a good day, but you know what? It'll be better tomorrow. Bye! It'll be better tomorrow. Or maybe not, because it's a full moon this weekend. One can only hope.
All right, we just got over to the farm where I kind of smoothed that washout where all the water was draining. You know, the one where I flipped the dirt pan over. Let's check it out and see how well my work held up. And that looks good. And I mean, we had a big rain. I know we had a good 2.5 inch rain on it, and that putting that flat bottom in there, that really did the ticket. Draining well, planting over real nice and smooth. Man, that looks fantastic. I kind of wish we didn't have a storm bearing down on us, and I could wait for Andy to get done with the fertilizer tomorrow and hook up to the roller crimper and come up here and do some crimping. This cover crop is good and thick. This is where we actually drilled it, and it's thick enough where I did my burn down strips. And I think a lot of this would do fairly decent with crimping, and I'd love to get it flat on the ground, improve weed control. And I am a little concerned about potentially shading the young corn plants and making them kind of tall and spindly. You know, not all of the areas are good, thick, and tall, but we could definitely do some selective crimping and probably do some good on it. But unfortunately, we do have another storm system bearing down on us. It's supposed to come in, I think, tomorrow night or Friday. I haven't checked the forecast a couple of days. Someone told me we're predicted to get anywhere from between 2 to 6 inches of rain. So it's gonna take a while to dry up after that. And I think if we really push hard tomorrow and don't have anything go wrong, we can get done with our corn, all except for getting our variety plots planted. So if we get that far, I'll be plumb tickled. It's gonna take one more long, hard day though. But even if we did have an extra person here to run the crimper, it's not quite yet fit to go to the field. I know I need to do a little bit of welding on it before we do any crimping with it. It's been one of those winter projects, just hadn't managed to get around to yet. 11:30 p.m. last pass of the night. Oh, stick a fork in me, I am done. My eyes are burning. Another 138 acres in the ground today. Not bad considering we changed farm 4 times and I had an hour-long breakdown and had to fill up a seed. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing moved over to the next field because as you can see, there ain't no traffic. We're here in Jackson city limits. There ain't no way I'm passing up an opportunity to move with no traffic on the road. Heck of a lot quicker to do it tonight than it will be tomorrow morning when everybody's trying to get to work. I'm gonna go home, grab a couple hours shut-eye. Thankfully, I don't have to eat supper when I get home. Take a quick shower and be back out here when the sun rises tomorrow. Everything's serviced, fueled, and moved. Let's get this last day on the road.
Andy is headed out. Thank God traffic's calmed down. It's been really bad this morning trying to get out of here. It's not gonna be a good time for me either. It is 8:30. I filled up the sprayer. Matt is on another farm. I'm going to three very small farms. One's like 7 acres, the other one's like 8, and the other one's like 3. And then I will end up wherever else he tells me to go. We have 155 acres left. So we're gonna get done today because it's supposed to rain tomorrow. And then I get to deal with this today. All this traffic and all these people, it's not fun and it's stressful. So let's just hope that people are mindful, because usually they are not.
Well, 15 acres down, we back on some more plowed ground. Man, this field is so much nicer since I took these terraces out and then smoothed it out real good. This is the field where the lime truck did a little spinning when he was spreading lime, and no, I didn't have a chance to grab my hand rake and come smooth it out, so we just gonna have to deal with it. And on this field, we're not running a prescription. This is only the second year that I've planted it, and the beans last year were pretty much a failure. Didn't hardly yield anything at all, so we don't have any good yield data off of it. So I really don't know the good areas and the bad areas in the field, so we're just planting a flat rate of 25,000 on this hill, because I don't think it's going to be a terribly productive hill. But if the conditions turn right, this 25,000 ought to be enough to make a respectable yield on it. I sure hope this 10 acres of conventional till doesn't vibrate those bolts loose on the back end like I lost yesterday. And for those of y'all that didn't get it, yes, that was humor. No, I don't think that the conventional till vibrated the bolts loose. I was just being funny. Yeah, anyway, starting this morning, we had roughly 150 acres of corn left to get done corn planting, and rain's supposed to move in late tonight, maybe early tomorrow morning. So we're gonna do everything in our power to get done with our corn planting day. Well, everything except for the test plots. I'm saving the test plots for last. If the rain actually holds off tomorrow morning a little bit, we'll be able to get those done and be completely wrapped up with corn. And then looking at the forecast, I saw some temperatures in the mid-80s for next week, and it's May. We might just turn around and start planting cotton. I don't know. If we are able to plant cotton, it will be the earliest I've planted cotton in a long time, and hopefully set us up for some big yields on cotton, because it seems like our biggest limiting factor year in, year out is getting the cotton mature. So we can give it an extra 7 days of growing and setting bolls and stuff. That could set the stage for some pretty big cotton yields this year. Be able to put that module picker through its paces this fall. That's what I'm hoping anyway. All right, since we're right across the road from my first planted soybeans, thought I'd run over there real quick and see if any of them coming up. Let's keep our fingers crossed. All right, it's been 13 days since these have been planted, and it's definitely been cool that 13 days. Had one period of wet weather, but other than that, it's been relatively dry. Oh man, look at that. They just popping out of the ground. And right here in this spot, looks like a pretty dang good stand. Looks like pretty much all of them came up. And then in some of the wetter areas, look at that, just popping up out of the soil. There's another one's gonna be a few days behind. All right, here's my pioneer plots. Planted a day later, and definitely not as many up. There's one coming up, about to poke through. Another one, another one, another one. Man, I would have thought a day would have made that much difference, but I guess it did. Well, I'm pretty pleased with this. It definitely took them longer to get out of the ground than what I would have wanted, but they are coming out of the ground. It's still too early to make a determination if I'm gonna have, you know, the kind of stand I need to make maximum yield. So we're definitely gonna give it a few more days, because they're actively coming up. And we'll come down here and you know, scout the whole field, make sure we got good stand across the whole field. But overall, considering the conditions we've had the last 2 weeks, I'm pretty happy with what I see out here right now. I'll give you one guess and one guess only to guess which part of the field I plowed up and which part I didn't plow up. Say, because it wasn't rough over there in that corner, we left the cover crop, but because we had to smooth up the rest of this little bottom, we plowed the rest of it up. What you're looking at is a map of my applied downforce right there, how much hydraulic downforce is applied to each unit in order to maintain 100% ground contact. You can tell the purple not requiring very much downforce at all, whereas where we didn't plow up the ground requiring significantly more to keep pressure on the gauge wheels to maintain consistent depth. Now this isn't a debate on conventional till versus no-till. I mean, everybody knows conventional till is definitely easier to plant in as long as it's got dry conditions and not muddy conditions. But that just goes to show you how fantastic this hydraulic downforce is on the planter. You know, this is my 4th year running it, and every year it just blows me away, the adaptability and being able to adapt to any kind of conditions on the fly without having to get out and touch the planter at all. It never ceases to amaze me.
I would like to show my dedication to this farm and basically to our extremely expensive equipment. Huge boulders, like these giant rocks, like these right here. I'm taking these for door stops, but there was one about the size of my lunchbox. That will do some damage to a planter or a tire, so I just chucked it over into the ravine, and I'm gonna feel that in the morning. But it's a good workout. I don't want the planter damaged. I don't want a tire damaged. So it just took 15 minutes out of my time to get out and just throw everything over. I do that with giant sticks or parts of trees that have been logged because it saves mat time from having to get out and get those, you know, branches and stuff that get lodged up in there. Just wear and tear on stuff. Stuff is really expensive, especially tires, and one of those right there with a sharp edge could definitely pierce one of our tires because we don't have any luck at all. So what I can do is, while I'm ahead, get out, assess stuff, and, you know, help out, because it's about teamwork and making sure the seed gets in the ground and doing it in an efficient manner. Ah, I missed one. All right, so let's go get it. Let's go get it. And the honking. Every time I come out here, somebody got to honk at me. Look at this. How does this end up in the middle of the field? Honestly, look at that's like the size of my foot, and I wear a size 10. So, oh. Hi, people. Look, I'm throwing boulders out. So there's my dedication and my workout in the freaking ditch. God. All right, on to the next field.
All right, tell me what you see a lot of out there. There's a whole lot of red out there, isn't it? And what you're looking at out there is crimson clover, which isn't really surprising. We Carter drilled this field behind our double crop beans because the pilot would not aerial spread this because we're in the city limits. So we wound up drilling it, and maybe just a few days after what I had my rest of it aerial seeded. So that's why we got such a good thick stand out here as opposed to on my other farms where it's kind of hit or miss. One thing I don't see any of out there is hairy vetch. Now the other fields that I planted, you've seen, I mean, crimson clover was okay, kind of sporadic in places, but what we did have a pretty good stand of is hairy vetch. Now they were in both the mixes. One was aerial seeded, one was planted with a drill. And they were both planted about the same time, behind the same crop that had the same herbicide program. Now, explain that to me. Why did vetch come up good in the aerial seeded part, but I literally don't see a single vetch plant out here at all. But the clover looks lights out. Oh, wait, there's one veg plant. So that proves that it was in the mix. Tell you what, no, it doesn't matter how long you farm. There's just going to be weird stuff that happens every single year that you just can't figure out and that you've never seen before. Man, I wish we had the opportunity to get that crimper over here and lay this down. I think crimper would do decent job. Now, a lot of the grass you see is annual ryegrass, and it doesn't crimp especially well. Not near as well as cereal rye or oats would, but I think it'd do a decent job. Man, look at all that beautiful crimson clover, man. That's got to be one of the prettiest things I think you can grow. Well, I just had a pretty big scare. Andy called me a little bit ago, said, I'm done spreading fertilizer, got about 600 pounds left in the buggy, but there's still a full buggy load on the tender truck. So when he got done yesterday, I knew we had about 90 acres left to do, so I ordered 95 acres just to make sure we wouldn't run short. I was like, there ain't no possible way he's still got a whole buggy load left. Somebody made a mistake. I had him check all the settings on the buggy and everything was just right, and it had been right on the money for the first 3 tender trucks. Anyway, but it's a blend of urea and ammonium sulfate that I custom ordered. I mean, there's no sending it back. Once they blend it, it's yours. So I told them to load it on the buggy, and then they called me back, said it wasn't a full buggy load. It wound up being a little less than half of a buggy load. Which, so for whatever reason, he was still running a tad bit shy, but not near as bad as what I thought. Well, I was panicking. You screw up your nitrogen application on corn with this kind of biomass, really gonna hurt your yield. What I had him do was adjust the buggy down to putting out a quarter of what he was putting out, and that last half of a buggy load should cover the majority of what he spread today. And I feel confident then that we definitely got enough nitrogen on it.
On this episode of random stuff I find in a field that we farm next to a subdivision, a Frisbee and a counter. And that works. So you know what? Finders keepers. Just sitting right there, like, awesome. And it looks like people have been walking back here through their house, because back here they've got like a little fort going on. Well, not anymore. Let me find them knock down some corn. We're gonna have a conversation. So a couple of years ago, that used to be a golf course, and it goes all the way along this ridge over here, and they sold some of it off to build those houses over there where the subdivision is. And no one has really been on it. They do still mow it. Well, then I got to stop because I had a tip that was clogged. And I started looking on the ground, and I was like, what is that? I guess they reopened the golf course because it didn't sell. They were asking like $10 million. So now we're going to have golf balls in the field. But thank you again for the wonderful find. This Carter and I will be whacking these in the backyard. So I wonder what else I'm gonna find today. A trunk with like $1 million would be really helpful, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
All right, last 2 farms, time for another seed fill up. What we're going with here on 9 of the 12 is DeKalb 6999. Supposed to be another real high yielder, and then we're gonna go with some 1870 R there, and 3 of the units for my refuge. So y'all see me fill up with seed enough times, not gonna bore you this time, so see you back out in the field.
So finally got the last farm of corn burned down done, but not really. Yeah, just that tiny little strip, just tiny, like not even a whole sprayer length, like not even, just like a little bit. And I don't have any chemical left. I have no water truck. I'm out here by myself. So just gonna wait until someone shows up. Thought I was done. It's after 5 and nope. It never fails. When you do it exactly to the acre, you always end up short. I don't know why, but I do every single time. I always put like 2 extra acres in there because this thing is kind of off. Just one strip, that's it. Just one. Especially after all that pole dancing I've had to do in this field. Oh well. Just fill up for a little bit, spray it, waste an hour, and then start moving stuff back to the shop. Okay, Sarah, right?
All right, we back over here on the Todd farm. This is the field I've been wanting to plant ever since I've done that dirt work here. So really excited to see how much easier and more pleasant it is to go across this field. Now right through here used to be pretty dang rough because I had 1, 2, 3 terraces in a row I had to cross, one right after the other, and they was kind of tall right over here because this is where they drained off into the woods. And now I'm just floating over there. Planter's not having to do any flexing or contorting to get across the terrain. Oh man, this is so much nicer.
So I figured I'd get out the sprayer because, well, I have to wait. And then I smelled something that I shouldn't smell. I have something wrong. Again. I don't understand why this sprayer hates me. So now I gotta figure out what is wrong because I'm out here by myself. All right, so I'm hoping it's not the thing that we just fixed. I mean, if it is, it is, but then I'm wondering why is it pulling this? Probably because it's a 20-cent O-ring from China. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, all right, let's investigate. I think it's the same daggum thing. You've got to be joking me. I can't really tell because I can't turn it on and come down here and find out, but I'm pretty certain that these are the culprits. I don't see anything else. I just don't understand. I don't understand why. Ugh. Oh, I understand why. 20-cent O-ring, that's why.
Well, it's official. I am so glad I spent that day or whatever just making that one terrace bigger and getting rid of those other 4. So having this field and then this field up here joined together, making for some nice long passes, a lot more efficient, less turning around, not as rough on my equipment, and not as rough on my back either. See, this used to be where this field stopped, then we have a terrace we couldn't cross, and then this terrace I built up, we could cross, but it was right there where we had to turn around on the edge of this field. Then we had to cross this terrace. And then we had to cross this terrace. And then there was a small terrace right up here on top of the hill. I have no idea why, because literally there's no water flow going to it. Water's either flowing this way or that way because it's a hill. Water runs downhill. I mean, there was like nothing flowing into this one, but there was a small terrace here. So much nicer. I am loving it. I tell you who's going to be loving it even more than me. Whoever's operating that sprayer, because when you're going across all those small terraces and sometimes at an angle, your booms just want to do this constantly. You have to slow real down. You have to slow way down so you don't smack the booms on the ground, and you just don't do a very good job spraying. All right, got about another 16 acres on this farm, then got 50 acres left on the last farm. It is 6:20. Oh, well, I don't know if I can keep my eyes open long enough to get all this done. Thankfully, that last 50-acre farm is just one big field, so we ought to be able to mow on through it pretty good. Probably take me about, I'm hoping take me about 2.5 hours to get it done, because you know, I should be able to cover right at 20 acres an hour if, you know, I'm not having to turn around and you know, fill up, all that kind of stuff. If I can just keep straight on the road, you know, I should be able to cover 20 acres an hour. You know, we're 38 feet wide, planting 5 miles an hour. Should be doable.
I've been waiting for 45 minutes. 45 minutes. And you know what the worst part was? The guy with the snap-on tools drove by twice. Like, you, oh. Mm. Yeah, I know. Same one, isn't it?
Same one.
Same freaking one. 10-cent O-ring from China. I bought these handy dandy little kits last year. Put them in the water truck. Oh, it looks fine until I run another 100 acres through here and then it wants to bust again. I literally have like nothing. That's all I've got. Yeah, let's just, I'm so done for the day. It's ridiculous. And we got plenty of oil, so we're good to go. All right, let's try this again. Take 47.
Well, another 45.6 acres down. Heading to our last field of corn, 50 acres to go. What time is it? 7:32. Doggone, I might just pull this off and get home before midnight tonight. Been an early night for me. That is if the rain holds off. The sky's getting kind of dark, and not just because the sun's going down. I'm not even gonna check radar. It's just gonna do what it's gonna do. All right, first thing I want to try and do is get my test plots laid off before it gets too absolutely pitch dark out here, so I can halfway see what I'm doing. Then we'll work on the main field, but we got 56 acres here. We're probably only going to plant about 50 of it and leave about 5 out for test plots. And one nice big field, long rows. We ought to be able to knock this out hopefully pretty quick. All right, we got a product plot that we're going to put in. We'll use a BioWake. This product was just given to me. They said, try it out, split a field, whatever, see if I could tell any differences. So, because I'm tired and ready to go home, we're not going to do this as scientific as what I would normally do my plots. What I've got in this field, I've got 36 rows straight down the middle of the field that's untreated. And then we're going to mix this stuff in with the seed, and then I'm going to plant the rest of the field on both sides of that 36 rows with it treated. And then that way, come harvest time, I can either take the information off my yield monitor and put it in my software and do an analysis that way to see if there's any kind of yield difference. Or if I have the time, you know, we got scales on our grain cart, I can basically have 2 replications. I can have, you know, right next on both sides of the untreated, I'll have a treated, so we can have, you know, so we can have 2 replications that way if I decide to. So I really don't know if this stuff is going to work. It's not really a biological. It's similar to a biological. Basically, what's in here is what the bacteria and other stuff produce in the soil. So basically you're just kind of like cutting out the middleman, just putting like the finished product in the soil. I don't know if it's going to work or not. We're going to put it in here and try it out. So the use rate on this is a ½ ounce per unit of seed. Now, I really don't know how much we got in here. Probably, I'll say we got at least 1 bag per hopper. So I'm going to put about roughly around 6 ounces here. Probably going to go a little over just to make sure we get it covered good. And then I'm going to go plant either edge of the field first so it can sift through, get mixed up with the seed real good before I plant right adjacent to the untreated. Here's an up close of the label. I mean, it doesn't really say what the active ingredient is. It says active ingredients, microbial content, 2%. So Really not a whole lot of information on that label. Like I said, I don't have much faith in this, but you know, there's been other products that I just tried on a whim and didn't think it'd work and wound up making me some pretty big yields, so. Well, Kelly just called me, said there's rain about an hour away, and I checked the radar, and it's not heavy, but there is rain coming into West Tennessee. I don't know if we're gonna make it or not. We only got 10% of this field done. No, I'm sorry, we only got 20% of this field done. We're gonna keep going until we get chased out, though. All right, guys, here's the last pass. I don't know if you can tell it, there's some rain on the windshield. It's starting to come down pretty steady. Got done just in the nick of time. 12:35 in the morning. It took me a lot longer on this field than I thought it was going to. We had to go back and put another 3 bags of seed in. Then I've had to get out twice and shuffle it around, just trying to stretch it. And I doubt we got enough to make it all the way to the end, but yeah, that's okay. I'm not going to go open up another $300 bag of corn seed just to do a half an acre. I'll wait until whenever we get these test plots planted and use some of that test plot seed to finish this little jag up if I can't make it. Well, anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up corn planting for us this year. Well, hopefully for us this year. I don't think there's going to be any replanting. I think it's all going to come up and be just fine. So anyway, I don't really know what's next for us. It all depends on the weather. Might be cotton planting, might be repair video, might be scouting crops. I don't know. Anyway, we'll be back soon with something else. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.